איזה דברים בערב או שזה רוצה? לא, אחרי זה שלום. סשה.
קודם מה שיש לי, מה שהציבור הרחב. סך הכל אני יכול לומר שיש התקדמות. זה לא פשוט אחרי 30.
צה"ל יזרז את הנסיגה שלו מסיני תוך 3-9 חודשים. עוד אמר שהוא מציע לבנות מחדש את קו הרכבת קהיר ירושלים, וכן להקים קו רכבת חדש במרכז סיני, מפני שהוא גורס
אתה יכול לחתום על כתובה בנישואים, ואחר כך החיים מתנהלים אחרת ממה שקיווית כשהיית תחת החופה. ולכן הרבה חשוב על איך אנחנו נתקוף.
That the Israelis and the Egyptians are within days of reaching an agreement. You said that this was so.
I would say so. I wouldn't like to say how many days, but as I said before, within the year 78 we'll conclude the peace treaty, I hope.
What brings you back here now?
To report to the government, to the cabinet on Sunday on certain outstanding points and on certain points that have been concluded in the negotiations and recommended for the government to accept it. And therefore, yesterday, the Prime Minister and the Foreign Minister and myself, after quite a lengthy debate, we decided that I go home, as I did, and I'll most likely be back Monday in Washington.
Has the problem of linkage between an Egyptian agreement and an agreement on a West Bank settlement, has this been solved?
Andy, I wouldn't like to, I said before in Hebrew that I wouldn't like to talk about details. We're advancing. The spirit of the talks are positive. All parties concerned are looking ahead, looking forward, and I would say are doing their best to conclude what we've started in a positive way.
Are you bringing back with you, Mr. Weizman, the draft treaty proposals drawn up by Mr. Vance, the renewed draft treaty proposal?
First of all, the draft treaty was not drawn by anybody in particular. It's a draft treaty worked upon by the three parties. Suggested one day by this, scolded the other day by the other, and I'm bringing a few items to be discussed in the cabinet.
But not the entire proposal?
I'm bringing what I'm bringing to the cabinet.
Mr. Weizman, is it true that the military aspects of these treaties have been worked out?
No, I wouldn't say it's completed, but they have been worked out to a very lengthy way. Some of the things most of the things I'm going to present to the government to the cabinet on Sunday are the military aspects. And some of them needs approval, and some of them needs discussion in the cabinet before we can say yay or nay in Washington to remind everybody we're a democracy, so we have to consult.
We've heard that Prime Minister Begin is asking President Carter for about $3 billion in loans to cover the cost of the redeployment and the resettlement of Israelis, military and civilian in Sinai. Tel Aviv University experts who held a discussion on this said $1 billion would be enough for both. How do you explain this disparity?
I explain it that professors usually haven't got the responsibility to execute what we in the military will have to.
And what about the oil problem? We hear that there's a disagreement on that between the U.S. and Israel as to access to the Sinai oil that Israel found.
These matters are being discussed, and this is why Minister Modai has been invited to come up to Washington, where this is his responsibility and he's going to carry out the talks.
Mr. Weizman, is this the last time that a personal consultation with the cabinet will be necessary before an initialing or signing?
I'll be able to answer this after the Sunday cabinet meeting.
If their answer is
I hope so. I can't be definite about it, but if need be to shuttle there and back, and if I have to do that, I wouldn't mind doing it if this brings a favorable conclusion.
Why have you come rather than the foreign minister?
Because primarily there are more military aspects to be discussed, and secondly he will carry on the discussions on the spot, and since he is the senior member, he stays on the spot and the junior member comes home.
Given what you said just before, given what you said before about how close you are to an agreement, do you think it's realistic to expect that such an agreement could be signed by November the 19th, the anniversary of the Synd trip?
I wouldn't like to say for sure.
Mr. Weizman, what about the early warning stations in Sinai? We heard a report that Israel and Egypt decided to give them up.
That's true. But again, I wouldn't like to go into details here, although this particular detail is known and accepted by the cabinet. We're going to have Anyhow, we have decided, I would like to go.
What about the American?
Yes, we have
Will they
decided.
go too?
Yes.
There'll be no Earth.
No American stations. And on certain areas, we clean from electronics. In certain areas, we should keep and they should keep. Gentlemen, if you don't mind,
Could I ask one final question, sir?
one last question.
Mr. Mulder, he said when he left this morning for stage that Israel was going to request $10 billion just to cover the costs of the Sinai withdrawal, replacing the Israeli troops on this side of the border. Is that a fair sum? And can you be a bit more specific on how it breaks down?
I know the sum that the Prime Minister has presented to the Secretary of State, and it's less than 10 billion. Thank you. Okay. Henry. What? Shuttling, you know. Just call me Henry.